I love my beta reading group. They're just so cool. Someone would say something and then someone's like, oh, I didn't think about this. But now that you say it, yeah, I can totally see this. And then you kind of brainstorm together. They're like, oh, but what if this and what if that? It's so nice when you have like such a good group that you can bounce off of.
Yeah, because sometimes you know something's missing, you just don't know what. It's not until they start asking questions or saying, but what about this? That you go, oh my goodness, yes, I should really do that.
That is very interesting sometimes when someone would give me feedback on something and I'm like, what were you thinking when you were reading that? I was like, that was not at all what I say.
Not at all what I thought, no, or what I
Yeah.
meant.
I always find it interesting to see which specific lines or words or phrases annoy some people while some it don't. And I'm like, so I feel that's a
Yes.
personal preference.
Yes. I had somebody once who said, don't let your beta readers work off the same Google document because they can feed off each other. But I've found I like it when they feed off each other, especially in this group that I'm in, because they'll disagree with each other.
I've always sent mine individually. I've never sent them together. Interesting.
Yeah, some people don't like it. I don't know. It might depend on your beta readers too.
All right, are we ready for... Oh, wait, what are you drinking?
I'm just doing apple cider today. Calm this nice sore throat I have.
I'm doing my rooibos tea because why not? I feel I'm starting to get predictable over here. Should give myself some new tea.
Me too. I was thinking that this morning I was making my apple cider. I thought I'm in a rut.
Go to the grocery store.
There you go. Broaden my horizons.
There you go. Let's do this. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Tea and Tales. I'm Madeleine now.
And I'm Sarah Sampson. Thank you to everyone for tuning in each week and for sharing all of our posts on social media. We especially want to thank Amanda and S.L. Martin for liking our posts and joining us. So today's episode, I feel like I'm a little less qualified to talk about, but it's one that Nell is huge into. So we're talking about book reviews today and why they're important.
I have so many thoughts running through my head. It's not even funny. I don't even know where to start because I'm like, there's so many things you can talk about when you talk about book reviews, and there's so many elements you can take to it. I feel like we are back at the blurb episode again where we are talking about something, but I do the complete opposite of what we're talking about. But okay, so here's the thing. I do book reviews for the novels that I read. But I actually do it more for myself than for anyone else because I need comps for my query letters. And so then I have evidence of why I liked it or why I didn't like it or the structure of it and like what tropes are there in and things like that. And so as time went by, I specified my book review, I almost want to say format, more. Because if you go onto my Instagram, you will see that, okay, I will have the title of the novel, I will have the author's name, then I have the date that the novel was published. Because for comps, you don't want them to be older than 3 to 5 years. I write the publishing dates more for myself, but I mean, if anyone else finds them helpful, then you know, hey ho. And then I would do tropes because naturally romance is a lot of tropes. And especially when you do comps, you're like, okay, my novel would sit nicely to this one because it also has enemies to lovers or friends to lovers or whatever. So I do that. And then naturally I do a spice level. But here's the thing. Each person's spice level is different. I also do follow a few bookstagrammers, I would say, because I'm on Instagram the majority of time. So the real life book reviewer, what she did is her pinned post is basically what she says who she is, and then she says how she basically reviews a novel. And then she would also say like what her spice level she rates them at is what she sees, because a spice level for her that might be a 5 might be a 1 for someone. And so I kind of like that because then you can get an idea of, okay, where is my spice level and like, would I like this? Because it might be spicy, too spicy, not spicy enough. So I like that about what she does. And then at the end of my novel, I would just have like a little thoughts So basically, it would be like what I thought about it, what I liked about it, what I sometimes didn't like about it. Book reviews is personal reviews. It's how you perceived a novel, it's how you perceived characters, it's how you perceived the writing of a certain writer. That's why I always take book reviews with a grain of salt, but it's very funny because I don't look at book reviews. I write them, I never look at them.
I like how you break it down into all those little bits, because book reviews summarize the key things in it that you might be interested in or not interested in. I'm not a very good book reviewer. I read book reviews all the time. I'm not very good at it. Like, I'll put one sentence, oh, I loved it, or something like that. I'm not very detailed. I'm not very helpful as a reviewer.
Yeah.
I try, especially if I'm doing an ARC read, I try really hard to be more detailed in my review. But when I'm going to look for a book, and Spice Level doesn't get into it as much with fantasy, sorry. What does come into it is how grounded is this? Is it more fairy tale fantasy, or is it more high fantasy, or is it, all those little details come into play of, do I feel like reading this right now? Does it speak to the comps I'm looking for? Because I'm a writer, I'm looking for comps more often in my reading than just something to read. And so being a book reviewer who can break down those elements and tell you what tropes are in there and tell you, different aspects you're going to run into in the book helps a lot for someone like me who does read a lot of book reviews to know whether I want to dive into that book or not.
Absolutely. And as I've said, what I like about book reviewers is that each person has their own way of doing a book review. So I love this person's book reviews. It's so super funky, but I would never do it myself because I'm like, that looks like time I do not have. And so this is Booked by Abigail. And what she does is she has a novel, a book, a journal, and she would then basically paste the picture of the novel that she read. So it looks like a book basically, and then she would paste the picture of the book that she's reading. And then she would have author, genre, length, fan, favorite character, start date, end date, rating, and then a quote that she enjoyed, and then your own thought that you had about the novel. I like that because it's something different. It's something that catches my eye. There are so many book reviewers out there. There's so many bookstagrammers out there that you do need to stand out in some way, shape, or form to be able to have people follow your pages. But I don't think people do it because they want to be an influencer for Bookstagram or something like that. Well, some might, but I think the majority of it is you do it because you love it, first of all, and you want to help other people because some people just don't know what they like, and they won't know until they would read a review. And someone's review and the way that they perceived a novel or the way that they wrote that review, you could be like, ooh, that sounds like fun. I want to read that.
Especially if they add interesting things like that quote that you talked about, because I can get a sense of the author's voice as well. And that's a huge thing for me when I'm reading a book. If I don't like the voice of a particular book, even if I like the storyline, I will have a hard time getting through it. And so being able to see some of the actual words helps me to feel like I can really get into this. There's a lot of different hows and ways to do a book review. And there's also a lot of places you can put book reviews. And Nell's mentioned a few of them, like Goodreads, Amazon. Anywhere that you buy a book, you can basically put up a book review, except maybe if you go into a bookstore and buy it. One of the new inventive ways I have found is when an author on their author page put up their book, I see people putting reviews of the book underneath their post on social media.
Ooh, interesting. I have not seen that.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
wait.
bought a book just for that, just because of that.
But wait, did you see that on Facebook though?
I've seen it on Facebook and I've seen it on Instagram, where they put up a post about their new release or about their book that's come out, and then people put under it and they're like, oh yeah, I really liked this about the book, or I really like that about the book, or
Oh,
it's really,
interesting.
the comment section can get a little
I
crazy.
say I've never seen it, but do I read comments? No. I'm a picture person. That's the thing. I'm a picture person. So I'm like, that looks like a nice cover. Put that on my TBR list.
You love the covers. We all know this about Nell. If you want Nell to read your book, get a great cover, send it to her. Speaking about the cover, a lot of times people will put book reviews on their cover too. some of those early reviews from beta readers or ARC readers, sometimes instead of a blurb or in the jacket cover, you'll see quotes from people reviewing the book, basically.
Is a no from me. I'm like, why? You are annoying me right now is what you're doing. No, thank you. If I wanted to know what someone thought about the novel, then I would have gone on Amazon and read the review. Thank you very much. I want to know what the blurb is, okay? I don't want to know what someone's review about it is. Let me not get negative over here. It's fine. We have strong feelings.
Very strong feelings coming from Nell right now.
I'm fine with like one or two quotes. Like, for example, if Sarah Adams releases a novel and Tessa Bailey maybe like has like a one, like, oh, this is such a nice novel, or this is so enticing, or something like that, then that's fine. But don't do the whole back blurb that could have been a blurb on the back. I'm like, no, thank you. I mean,
Yeah,
actually, I should
replace the blurb with all quotes.
But then also, you know what I do not like? I don't know why we're talking about what we don't like, but anyways, what I don't like is when a book review is a summary of the novel. I'm like, I could have read the blurb and you're telling me the exact same thing. I want to know your personal thought about what you thought of this. So you can take out those 3 paragraphs and then just continue with the rest of what you just said.
Yeah, I think there is a balance between how detailed you get about the book versus giving your opinion about the book.
And it can be something as simple as like, I didn't like the pacing of the novel. So it's, for example, when you went into the novel and you thought that this was a chosen one trope, but then it ends up being a forgotten one trope. I don't know. And you're like, this is not what I expected. I did not see this one coming. See, I will never have that problem because I don't know what the book is about. So I'm like, just going into it, I'm like, what is this? Surprise me. It's almost like I'm reading a thriller every time I read romance. I'm like,
ooh, it's exciting. A place that's overlooked where you could put a book review is on the author's website. A lot of times they have comment sections on their website. Like, go to their website, look at their stuff, leave them a review on their page about that particular book.
I have to Google this. Like, can you actually do, like, I did not know you can do that.
Well, some websites don't have comments turned on, so you can't, but others do. I have seen some that have their comments turned on, and it's like, use that. Put your comments on about the author, about the books, about the things, so that they can find it in that one place, and people looking for that specific author can find it there as well.
That is a very interesting way to do that, which I feel kind of leads into why is book reviews so important and how do book reviews help writers? Naturally, when you are an author and you are releasing a novel, you want people to give you comments and to review your novel, especially if it's on Amazon or those platforms where it could help you get on the New York bestseller list or something like that. That's why ARCs are so important and so many authors do them, because the more people who read your novel, the more it will get onto people's feeds, and that would give exposure to authors. But what I also love about book reviewers is they form a relationship with authors, which I absolutely love. And I think authors love that as well, because once you release a novel, you know for a fact these people will support you, will put your book out there to the world. And it's something as simple as doing a book review. It's something as simple as putting a picture of the cover of the novel on top and say Happy Pub Day. Honestly, it's the simplest thing, and it can mean so much to a writer. It can help a writer so much. But then also, side note, different authors prefer different things. Like, I've had someone say, if you give 3 stars or less, please don't tag me in a book review, which makes perfectly sense. But in all honesty, if you write a negative review, which you are inclined to do, don't tag the author in it. I feel that should be like your number one thing that you should not be doing, is tag an author when you do not like their novel. Other people are more than welcome to see your book review. That's perfectly fine. You are more than welcome to have your opinion on that. Don't do that to the author. I feel you can do better things with your time. And you as the author don't want to read it.
Writing is so lonely, and you put so much time and energy into a novel, even if it's not the best novel in the world. I get it. You're going to have a spectrum of novels, right? But there's so much heart and time and energy put into that novel that it can be very disheartening to either get crickets, absolute silence, or to only hear the bad things, you know? And so it can really hurt. Be understanding humans in this world, and just, if you do have a negative review, like, put it in a way that isn't attacking the author themselves. You'll learn about this a lot when you're doing a lot of beta reading, or if you're learning how to give constructive feedback. Use I feel statements, I think statements, this came off to me, and make it about the book and about you, not about the author. Because the author is a person, and maybe they have improvement to do. I know as an author, I have lots of improvement to do, but you can put it in a way that doesn't feel like an attack on the person themselves.
Yeah, and I think that is also the thing. You won't know if you like a book unless you read it. And it's just one of those things. I might be writing romance, but not all romance readers might like what I write, which is perfectly fine. That's why there's so many to choose from. So many romance authors to choose from until you find someone that you like. But yeah, so it's simply just a difference in taste, which is perfectly all right. But yes, do not bring down the author, because not cool, dude. Not cool.
Another reason why it's important as well is you were talking about how it's super easy to just do. It's a free way to support an author. And
Absolutely.
We all like free. We all love free. It takes a few minutes of your time. Sometimes I'll write one review and then I will copy and paste it into all the different forums. Like, you don't have to make it up new each time. You can put the same review on Amazon that you put on Goodreads. It's okay to do that.
I literally do that. Like, I would put the same review on my Instagram and my Facebook and my Goodreads. I'm like, I don't have time to do a different type of approach for every review. That, no, thank you. I'm like,
No,
that's
thank
what you get. If you like it, you do. If you don't, sorry, ne?
Yeah, and it takes just a second to hit that like button, to hit that share button, or anything like that. Doing those little tiny things helps the author so much. Even if you're a lot more like me, who I don't like making comments on anything. So maybe that's why I'm a bad book reviewer. But I don't like making comments. But you can still, pushing that like button or pushing the share button and just sending it out to other people helps 100 times. So if you feel yourself liking it, just push like.
Book Talk was one of the most amazing things that happened to authors. And here's the thing. Book reviews does not necessarily just have to be writing. It can be videos as well. And videos, and especially if you are on TikTok or Instagram or Facebook, like, people watch reels like it's no one's business today. If you can make a book review by using reels, that is even more fantastic, because, again, people just love aesthetics. The amount of times that I would go onto Instagram and then I would swipe through and I would see these reels, and then it would just be a quote of a novel, or it would just be an image or something like that. And I'm like, ooh, this is enticing. I want to read this. If you do a reel of a novel, please actually tell me what the novel is, so that I don't have to go through 4,000 comments to figure out what the novel is. By that time, I don't want to read the book anymore. And it could be something as small as just literally putting a picture of the book in the bottom corner. Like, honestly, that would be perfectly fine. A majority of authors have Facebook groups that they connect with their fans and their readers and things like that. And so there are so many ways that you can help authors and help promote their novels. And book reviewing is just one of those things. But I also think book reviewing is such a personal thing. And so just take it with a grain of salt. And so I feel book reviews are like beta reading feedback. Take what you need from it and then move on with your life and go read that book. And that actually is also connected to audiobook reviews, because audiobook is a book, my friends. So any platform that you could possibly go put a review, literally, as Sarah said, copy and paste your comment or your review and just go bloopity boop bloop bloop onto all the platforms that you could possibly think of to paste that. And that would mean the world to an author. And the Bookstagram or Book Talk community as well.
Especially for our indie authors out there. Because when you're a traditionally published author, you might have a better platform for distribution to get organic reviews, but your indie authors are doing it all themselves. And if you don't share, nobody's going to see it. Indie authors need that more zealousness in their readers to go out and to not just share, but also to watch for their next books and to share when their next things are coming out. If you do like reading an author's book, let that continue forward to the next books and the books after that.
So basically, I think we are here just to say that book reviews are amazing. Whether you give it a 1-star or a 5-star, it means that you read it, which is fantastic, and that's all we want. So yes. And get creative. I think it's such a fun thing to do.
And if you are an author getting ready to put a book out, remember that those book reviews, especially in the first 24 hours of the book release, are so important to get up there and out there. And so having a really good ARC team who are going to put up your reviews the day of release, put the link up to Goodreads and Barnes and Noble and all the different places that they can put a review in an email, send it to them, say, okay, it's release day, everybody. Get your reviews up. Be energetic about it. Have fun with it and help them to remember, first off, to do it and have plenty of time to read your book before that release date so that they can put out a good, honest review. But we like to keep things short here on Tea and Tales. Get your fingers back on the keyboard and your pens back on paper.
And if you love the community that we have created and love listening to us and our beautiful voices, then go on to Instagram and Facebook and Threads at Tea and Tales Podcast and follow us, and on TikTok and Twitter/X at Podcast Tea Tales. And go to that purple icon on your device and go give us 5 stars so that we can go up, 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 up to the top.
Happy writing.
Bye.